Welcome to these dramatized true encounters. To be fair, Colorado must be included in the roll of states where Bigfoot has been seen. North Dakota and South Dakota. The Standing Rock Zoo Indian Reservation encompasses 2.3 million acres along the boundary between North and South Dakota. According to the October 31st, 1977 issue of Newsweek, the mysterious monster appeared near the village of Little Eagle. It is close by a once mighty river, now reduced to creek size by the impoundment of large upstream dams. True, there are trees along the banks of the Grand River and much dense brush, but winter storms rake these clean of leaves. Sub-zero cold and blizzards add to the misery of outdoor living, yet apparently the creature is there. It was first seen by two boys, Todd Alexander, 12, and his brother Chad, 9. During August, they were riding horseback near the river when Todd heard something moving noisily through the brush. Todd said he saw long, hairy legs up to just above the knees. The rest was hidden by the bushes. When the boys told their father about it, he paid no attention. But weeks later, more reports developed. Arnold Kills Crow and Cecilia Thundershield were walking to a friend's house one night when strange noises and an odor that gagged them made them call the police to investigate. The officer and Gary Alexander, the boy's father, and a neighbor responded to the call. They chased something, heard it scream but lost it. Later, they camped out in hopes of trapping the beast. Alexander said, "We sat some distance apart, listening to the night sounds of leaves rustling and an occasional bird or owl. About 3 a.m., all of a sudden there was this bellow and shriek, unlike anything we were familiar with. Via, the police officer, crept over to me and asked if Dee heard anything. I said I hadn't. We were cold, so we went back to my store. Via asked me again if Dee heard anything. This time I said yes. I'd heard it all right, but wasn't going to stick around out there with whatever was making that racket. Both Via and Alexander wished somebody would prove the sighting was a hoax or not. Carloads of armed strangers poured into the tiny town, asked questions, gassed up, and took off like crazy. They drove onto ranches despite no trespassing signs, left gates open so cattle got out, and tore around the countryside. Then things quieted down a bit when no trace of the creature was found. That's when a 70-year-old woman, Hannah Shooting Bear, had the fright of her life. She lives alone in a small house atop a hill near the town's water tower. About 10 p.m., she looked out her kitchen window toward a mobile home where relatives lived. There, silhouetted in light from its windows, she saw a large, hairy beast spying on the people inside. It had a big head and wide shoulders and swayed back and forth. First, she tried to get her dogs to go outside and distract the monster. They refused to budge, so she pushed them out. They crawled whimpering under the house, so Hannah slipped out, made a wide detour, and came up on the far side of the mobile home. She banged on the door, and once inside told the men present about the hairy, peeping Tom. They grabbed rifles and gave chase, but the creature quickly vanished into the brush. When reporters arrived to talk to her, Hannah was asked if she knew of any Sioux legends about the creature. She did not, nor did other residents of Little Eagle. However, Hannah did refer to it as Takuhi, or wild man. She could not be accused of imagining. She had seen the beast because Lieutenant Villa had made several plaster casts of footprints that measured 20 inches long and 6 inches wide, both a left and a right footprint, in addition to long hairs pulled off some brush and samples from a large pile of droppings. Yet there is one fact not usually mentioned. A few weeks before the first sighting, the local theater ran a film about a Sasquatch. Maybe it occurred to some prankster to don a gorilla costume and have some fun. The fun could turn into tragedy if, perchance, a well-aimed bullet hit its target. Genuine or hoax, the sightings now have been reported throughout a wider area on both sides of the state boundary line. Thus, they have brought some fame to Little Eagle and both North and South Dakota as Bigfoot country. Minnesota. The situation is a little different in Minnesota. The northernmost lake's wilderness has produced a small crop of the usual sightings, but the state is best remembered for a creature dubbed the Minnesota Iceman. This involved one of the most ingenious, complicated, and profitable hoaxes known. Chances are good that many of you readers have seen this particular oddity. Its body, encased in ice, has been displayed at carnivals, state fairs, and shopping centers throughout the nation. Let's describe what you have already seen, or might see when the Minnesota Iceman comes to your area. The display is housed in a long, narrow metal mobile trailer. The outside is plastered over with huge posters depicting a hairy monster. The barker, or man trying to wheedle you into paying your money to go inside, rattles on about a mysterious creature who could be Bigfoot in the flesh or possibly the only remains in the world of prehistoric man. Your curiosity is aroused enough so that you pay the price of admission and enter the trailer. Inside, the main attraction is a refrigerated display case. It is open at the top and rimmed with steel pipe. You feel the icy air seeping from the container as you lean over to view an enormous cake of ice, almost 7 feet long. Encased in the ice, you see the hazy bulk of a 6-foot-long creature. It is lying on its back, covered with hair, the face ape-like and bloodied, the big hands and feet in riposte. The friendly caretaker will gladly answer your questions. Of course, his stories vary from year to year and place to place, but essentially are the same. Here is a brief version. The self-styled exhibit manager is named Frank Hansen. He explains that he is not the owner. That person, whose name has never been revealed, supposedly obtained the ice-encased block in Hong Kong in 1966. Fishermen found it floating in the Sea of Japan and hauled it aboard their vessel. They kept it refrigerated along with their catch of fish and unloaded it on the docks at Hong Kong. A man who watched this happen and viewed its contents realized that thousands of people would pay to see the curiosity. He bought it, shipped it to the United States, and employed Mr. Hansen to tour the nation with it. In December 1968, the block of ice appeared as a sideshow attraction at the annual International Livestock Exposition. One of those viewing it was a skilled biologist. He promptly alerted Ivan Sanderson that he had viewed an unclassified monster. Sanderson and the famed Belgian anthropologist, Dr. Bernard Uvelmans, flew to the Midwest to inspect a fully haired hominid preserved in partially clear ice. The first thing they noticed was a strong odor, and judged it to be that of rotting mammalian flesh. Sanderson was very excited because he thought that, at long last, he was viewing the genuine remains of a Bigfoot Sasquatch creature. Although hampered in their examination by the overmantle of ice, the two scientists took lengthy notes and measurements. Sanderson soon named the figure Bozo, and judged it to be some form of primate, possibly an anthropoid, having the characteristics of man. They photographed it from several angles, even allowing for distortion because of the ice. They were certain they were filming a once-living creature. The publicity resulting from the scientists' visits lured thousands to view the exhibit. Meanwhile, Sanderson and Uvelmans withdrew to review their notes and make a final judgment. Not long after, however, Hansen claimed he was questioned by authorities who demanded proof the remains were not those of a murder victim. Apparently, he provided satisfactory answers, but must have been worried. He and Bozo disappeared from the scene for almost 2 years. In July 1970, Hansen surfaced again with a well-publicized confession. He claimed he had shot the creature while hunting in northern Minnesota. He had wounded a deer and was tracking it when he spied 3 large hairy beasts gathered around the carcass and feeding on it. One, a mature male, charged Hansen. He shot it in the eye. Its companions fled. Hansen moved closer and, for good measure, shot the creature again. After that, he claimed he went home. Since the shooting occurred in sub-zero weather, the remains quickly froze solid. Several days later, Hansen returned to the scene, wrapped the carcass in plastic, and transported it to a deep freeze container in his home at Winona. As soon as the proper refrigerated display case was obtained, he set out to make a fortune displaying Bozo to the gullible public. Here the story changes again. Ivan Sanderson had the opportunity to examine Bozo a second time. He was shocked to find that he was viewing a much-changed creature. This was not the original one. After more headlines, Hansen admitted that the real creature was now in storage. The present model was made of wax, wire, and plastic. The public didn't seem to care one whit. Real or fake, the figure and its fast-talking owner still draw crowds. Now we turn to Alberta and Saskatchewan and Canada. Since there have been a few sightings in Canadian provinces bordering on Montana and a portion of North Dakota, they will be mentioned here. John Green is the source for the following. On May 11, 1974, Ron Gummel of Calgary, Alberta, was driving along the reservoir behind the Bighorn Dam. In rounding a curve, he saw 2 Sasquatch creatures standing in the middle of the road. They were so big they could have picked up my car and thrown it in the lake. By bid, he meant 12 feet in height. Fortunately, he brought his vehicle to a stop some 30 feet from the creatures. They never moved for 10 seconds and then unconcernedly loped off into the timber. Then, in October 1975, Bob Moody of Wilking, Alberta, saw 3 Sasquatches in the vicinity of Sexsmith about 8:30 a.m. One appeared to be 8 feet tall and covered with dark short hair, but the other two were only 4 feet high. They were no more than 30 yards from me. I spotted them about at the edge of the tree line, off the southbound lane of Highway 2. He assumed the larger one was a female with 2 younger ones. She was crouched, but when she heard the motor, she reared back. I began to pull the truck over, but she and the smaller ones disappeared. The whole thing happened in a matter of seconds. Since Moody is a professional trapper and has spent 45 years in the woods, his word is not to be challenged. A guide checked out the site later and found footprints. These were at the edge of a dense growth of poplar and willow, which enclosed a swamp and a portion of a river. The next reported sighting occurred September 1st, 1976, when a Calgary resident saw a huge black animal, 9 feet tall and resembling an ape, standing in a swift-running river west of Caroline, Alberta. As soon as the Sasquatch spied the man, it disappeared into the bush. 2 months later, according to a feature published in the Athabasca Echo, 2 boys described a similar animal, observed walking at midday along a country road east of Rochester. The province of Saskatchewan comes pretty close to being a blank on the Sasquatch map. John Green states in Sasquatch, "The apes among us." There are several unconfirmed reports of 18-inch footprints of dubious quality in the Birch Lake vicinity and near Saskatoon. In 1968 and 1969, a number of Indians set up camp in the remote upper stretches of the North Saskatchewan River at Kootenay Plains. One man cutting wood looked up to discover a creature watching him at close range. He didn't know what to do, so just went on chopping wood. After a bit, the Sasquatch walked away. About the same time, huge tracks in the sand were discovered along the riverbank. On August 24th, some 20 miles away, a dark creature was watched from a distance of a half mile by 5 men. One can only hope that when more reports are forwarded to John Green, they will provide more satisfactory details to substantiate the presence of the Sasquatch in both provinces. Those who sincerely believe in the existence of the Bigfoot Sasquatch creature and devote years to searching for it feel that any hoax damages their reputations for honest endeavors. They plead for scientists to enter the investigation and help prove or disprove Bigfoot's existence. They are heartsick when hoaxsters, Frank Hansen, Shuri Darville, and her fake kidnapping, or the 4 youths who staged the mission, British Columbia, praying, draw public attention. It is incidents such as these, and hundreds more which are similar though less spectacular, which strengthen most scientists' opinions that Bigfoot is a fake. However, scientists often are or can be mistaken. One can recall that when rumors first seeped out of Tibet of a giant mammal of bear-like appearance with a black and white coat and rings around the eyes, scientists flatly stated that no such animal could exist. After several expeditions were dispatched to obtain specimens, dead or alive, the giant panda was finally captured and brought to America. Many young readers are familiar with the big, ugly, pop-eyed coelacanth. Scientists around the world believe this fossil fish was long dead until a living 5-foot-long blue-scaled specimen showed up in Fisher, men's nets off the southern coast of Africa. In addition, this past summer, the fossil remains of a fish never known to exist in the species was found in central Montana. Many people who have experienced first-hand encounters with Bigfoot hold stories that are not only fascinating but offer unique insights into the mystery surrounding this elusive creature. Their personal beliefs, shaped by these experiences, add to the growing body of intriguing reports. Sharing these stories helps to deepen our understanding of the phenomenon and keeps the conversation alive for those still searching for the truth. This acknowledges the significance of their stories while encouraging sharing and community discussion. Thanks for watching the most unusual Bigfoot encounters from the past. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and sharing your Bigfoot experiences and insights in the comments below. Your story could be featured in a future video.